Hello, this is My Sweet Mess, and welcome to my kitchen, where every week I make a mess trying new recipes in the pursuit of something sweet. This week, I am excited to try a new to me recipe for pumpkin French toast sticks from Kristen at Lil'Luna, and I'll leave the original recipe link in the show notes below. These pumpkin French toast sticks sound so cozy. They sound fallish, and honestly, I'm just hoping they taste as good as they smell in my imagination. Alright, let's see how this goes. Before we start mixing and cooking, let's get started with our mise en place. Mise en place is a French term which translates to putting in place or everything in its place. It's a great step to add to your baking routine to help set you up for success. It's basically the culinary version of cleaning a space before you start a DIY project. So what you do is you measure and prep all your ingredients, get your tools out of the cabinets, and preheat your oven all before you start your bake. This helps prevent that mid-bake panic when you realize you forgot to soften the butter or you're an egg short. And yes, I've been there. With French toast, I know that the bread is going to be super important. When it came to choosing my bread for this dish, I was looking for a bread with either a sweet or neutral flavor that would complement the pumpkin. So I went with a brioche. A brioche loaf is an egg-based bread with a slightly sweet flavor, which I thought would complement the sweetness of the pumpkin so well in this dish. In researching this recipe, and French toast in general, I found that you do want to dry out your bread beforehand because it prevents sogginess and allows the bread to better absorb the custard mixture. Because I knew I was going to make French toast the night before, I went ahead and sliced my brioche loaf into 1-inch slices and left it overnight on a wire rack to dry out. You can also dry your bread out in the oven or the toaster. To be honest, if I'm making French toast, I usually don't have the forethought to dry out my bread. So if you wake up in the morning and decide you want these pumpkin French toast sticks, then skip the drying step. I had time, so I did it, and I'll let you know if I think it made that much of a difference. Now that my ingredients are ready, let's move on to preparing our equipment. I've got a 13 by 9 inch pan. This will be what I make my dredging mixture in. Any high-walled flat-bottom bowl or pan that you have will work. That way it makes it easy to dunk and flip your French toast. You'll also want a flat-bottom bowl or plate for your cinnamon sugar mixture. Now that my ingredients are measured and my equipment is ready, it's time to move on with the bake. Okay, first things first. In this little rectangular baking dish, and yes, this shape does matter, like I said, because it'll make the dunking of the bread easier. We're going to whisk together the magic. Eggs, milk, pumpkin puree, a splash of vanilla, cinnamon, and pumpkin pie spice. That pumpkin pie spice is the real MVP here. Instant cozy vibes. Make sure that you are breaking up the pumpkin puree as you stir so that all of your toast gets a little bit of that pumpkin flavor. Once that looks good and mixed together, I'll set this whole thing aside for later. Then I'll grab another small baking dish and mix together the sugar and cinnamon. That's it, super simple. This is going to be our outer coat of deliciousness, kind of like a churro situation, but French toast style. I also have a little bit of extra sugar and cinnamon set to the side, just in case this isn't enough. Now that my prep work is done, let me bring this dredging mixture and the cinnamon sugar closer to the stove, and I'll grab my dried out brioche, so that way I have a nice little station set up for quick and easy access. I've got my large skillet heating up over a medium heat, and I'm going to add just a little bit of butter here, enough to coat the pan, and I'll let that melt down. Here's a pro tip. don't crank the heat too high or your butter will burn before we even get to the bread. Nobody wants burnt butter here. Now for the fun and messy part, dipping the bread. Just dunk it in, flip it over so that all sides get that pumpkin-y egg hug, and onto the skillet it goes. I'll cook each side for about 2 minutes or until they're golden brown and smelling amazing. I'm going to put a few French toast sticks in the pan at once while also keeping in mind I don't want to crowd them because it'll make it very difficult to flip the French toast. Once this first round of French toast sticks are done, and I will try not to eat them straight out of the pan, I'm going to roll them in that cinnamon sugar mixture while they're still hot so it sticks to it. Because I used an entire loaf of brioche, I'm going to have to cook these in batches, but the process remains the same. Dunk your bread in the egg mixture, cook it in the skillet, and then roll it in the cinnamon sugar. I'm going to flash freeze what I don't eat today by putting them on a baking tray and freezing for a few hours. And then once the outside is frozen, I'll store it in an airtight freezer-safe container and then defrost them as I want them. Something I'm realizing as I'm cooking these French toast sticks is they will easily burn. So you may have to mess with your heat settings a bit to get it dialed in, especially if you're cooking multiple rounds of French toast. I would also keep an eye on the sides of the French toast. If it looks like the bread is still wet on one side, I went ahead and just flipped the French toast onto that side to cook the mixture. Now if you're using a full piece of bread, you probably won't have this problem, but these French toast sticks where you've got so many cut exposed edges, it was something that I noticed. Once all of your French toast sticks are done, it's just a matter of serving them up with maple syrup, or if you want to get fancy, buttered pecan syrup, powdered sugar, fruit, whatever suits your fancy. I mean, look at these guys. They look so delicious and just scream fall. All right, time for a taste. Oh, and these are delicious. That pumpkin really shines through and helps elevate that French toast just a little bit. Pumpkin French toast sticks, my first time making them and definitely not my last. They're cozy, a little crispy on the outside, soft on the inside, and very much worth making. If you try these, please let me know in the comments below how yours turn out and what kind of bread you ended up using. I love the versatility that comes with French toast, and I would love to know what works best for you. Alright, I am off to serve these to my family. Thank you so much for being with me here today. And remember, trying new things is messy, but the end result can be pretty sweet. Have a great rest of your day. Bye now!